listening and watching the We Are West Ham podcast with me, Will Pugh. I'm still live down under in Perth for the West Ham pre-season tour. We smashed Perth Glory 6-2 the other night. We chatted to Richard Taylor Tombides, excuse me, and I'm delighted to say that joining me for the very first time on the We Are West Ham podcast, it's JaackMaate. Jack, thanks so much for agreeing to do this. First of all, I've just got to say one thing.
Yeah.
You're a YouTube sensation. All of those things.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Everyone's impressed from afar.
Right.
But you're a West Ham fan, and all I can see as you're sitting there chatting to Carlton Cole is still a boy who went to watch West Ham games at Upton Park, absolutely starstruck.
100%. Like, when I got this job 2 years ago, it was one of the most proudest moments of my life. I know it's one of the most proudest moments of my dad's life. And just getting to interview the players, see the players on a sort of, on these trips on a daily basis and stuff, that sort of magic will never be lost on me. Like, I know I'm very, very fortunate, and I'd work this job for free. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, of course you would, mate. Look, it's absolutely incredible. Talk us through. You were just on the stage just now. We're here at the Crown Sports Bar in the Crown Plaza. Bit fancy, isn't it? It's far more fancy, I understand, than the nightclub you went to on your first or second night here at Northbridge. Mustangs, was it?
Yeah, that was first night. Yeah, first night out was in Mustang. It was a bit weird. Let's say that. Me and we were actually in this casino last night until 6 in the morning. So I was here 9.5 hours ago.
You look good for that, mate.
Do I really? That's the first time I've heard that. But no, that Mustang bar, that was a strange place. I'm here in Northbridge. Is not really where you want to be going.
To be fair, it didn't sound like you completely hated it. It sounded like you enjoyed it quite a bit.
We had a little bit of a boogie. Yeah. There was a few faces there. We'll leave that at that.
Listen, mate, it's obviously great to see West Ham come out here. David Moyes admitted yesterday in his press conference it's not ideal preparation for pre-season, but for the club it's a good commercial opportunity, and as well, and the thing I've noticed as much, you will definitely have noticed this, is how much it means to all the Aussie West Ham fans out here, the expats who live out here, and there are a significant amount of people who've come over from England just for the tour as well. It's a great thing for the club. It's really been heartwarming, some of the stories I've listened to.
Yeah, 100%. I can say that, personally, I did not expect there to be this many Hammers out here. And I think when maybe the players see that the pre-season's in Australia, that's a bit long, just going to finish my holidays and then I've got to go over there. But I reckon their perspective's completely changed after seeing all the fans, because the love that I've felt, and I'm no one. So I can't even imagine the kind of love Jared Bowen and the boys are getting.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I spoke to Ange yesterday in the press conference, Ange Bonner, of course, and he said that he admitted it. Him and Moyes were really honest about it. They said, yeah, look, I'm struggling with the jet lag for a little bit, but it's a huge thing for the club. And honestly, I've heard some stories, people either Aussies or expats whose parents might have been English or lived in England, who have passed away since, but instilled in them their support in West Ham, and they've carried that on. They get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. It is genuinely incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. It's you get some fans out there who call you plastic and whatnot for not going to every game, but you've got to remember there's people who live on the other side of the world. There's people who can't physically afford it. There's lots of reasons why people can't go. And for us at home, I mean, I'm from Norwich. It's easy to get down to London Stadium, but for these guys here, you can't travel 10,000 miles around the world every week. So, and like you said, mate, getting up at 4 in the morning, I'm West Ham through and through. I think I'd struggle to do that.
I struggle to get up at 11 a.m. for home games sometimes.
Yeah, I told you, mate, I was in a casino till 6 and I woke up at 1:30 today, and it's now 3:30.
Right, but admit it though, because I've been saying to people back home, right, I've been telling my girlfriend, I'm like, no, honestly, it's the jet lag, which is why I'm up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Is it the same for you, yes or no?
It's a three-way split between the working schedule, the jet lag, and the alcohol.
Yeah. Even thirds. Yeah, I like it. Right, listen, mate, we've spoken about this just before we come on and hit record, and it's an amazing thing. We've both had those experiences. We're both very fortunate to be out here for work purposes, which is amazing. And I've just heard you on the stage here with Carlton say that you do a very similar thing to me, right? And I'm going to let you tell the story in a minute, but I text my dad often, who I've always gone to West Ham with, and and I text him when I have little surreal moments. I asked Moisey a couple of questions yesterday in the press conference. Yeah. And although, you know, I was the same as you, worked hard to get in these positions, but it still is surreal. There's still inside me that little West Ham fan who's aged 9 or whatever being carted off to Upton Park. So I text my dad, I go, just ask Moisey a question.
Yeah.
The fact he was completely disinterested in what to say is completely by the by. But I've just heard you say a very similar thing about texting your old man. Talk me through it, because it's way more impressive and funny than mine.
The photo?
The zoo trip.
Yeah. So yesterday spent the afternoon at Caversham Wildlife Park with Carlton Cole, and growing up, he's one of my favourite players. He's a bit of a cult hero, isn't he? So I remember all those years ago, I was sat at Upton Park watching him missing the goal more often than not. And
you're allowed to say that now because you're mates with him, aren't you? Yeah.
And we was walking around the zoo, and Carlton was holding a wombat for about 20 minutes, and I was just stood there. I had a bit of a moment, you know, when you go sort of out of yourself and you're looking inwards, and I was like, I'm stood here watching Carlton Cole manhandle a wombat.
Mate, absolutely mad stuff, mate. You didn't get your hands on one, did you? Apparently you weren't VIP enough, is that true?
Right.
I don't believe that, but...
Right. This is the thing, right? So my favourite animals have always been, and this is not a PR answer, it's like being a koala, right?
You're from Norwich?
Yeah, I know. When I was a kid, I used to carry around a little koala teddy. Spoken about it on my podcast loads of times, so that was one of my main things I was looking forward to doing over it. So I get there and they say you can't hold a koala, like for whatever reasons, like it's an endangered species or whatever. But then I wake up this morning and Pablo Fornals and Ogbona's holding a koala. So obviously they were very careful with it and within the guidelines, but still.
Yeah. I mean, how many guidelines are there really for holding a koala? Do you know what I mean? Stand there and do this.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't trust me.
No, that is true. Look, you did mention on stage Carlton had got his head screwed on a bit. All koalas, yes or no, have chlamydia?
See, this is what I'm hearing. We had Liam Payne on our podcast, and there's articles out there that he caught chlamydia from a koala. I don't know if that's true or not, right? And Carlton very much said the same, but I'm saying it might be just an excuse.
Right, yeah. I mean, is it been scientifically proven one way or the other that you can or cannot catch chlamydia from a small bear in Australia? You're obviously not going to, because you're not allowed to hold them.
Yeah, it depends what you do with a bear, I think.
Yeah, quite. Like, I think this is probably the best time to end the chlamydia koala chat at the moment. But listen, mate, there's obviously a couple of games out here. Perth Glory the other day, 6-2, comprehensive win. Moisey said afterwards that he's not too worried at this stage about running stats or anything like that. He wants to see this team scoring goals. Obviously did that, so a good mix across the team. Dan Chester's setting up the first one, obviously, for like the own goal, but it was all his good work. Mabama comes on at the end. Jared Bowen looking really sharp as well, even though it was only, 6-7 weeks ago that he made all of our lives, basically. Yeah. Really good so far. Tottenham it is, we're speaking ahead of the game. The video might come out, after that Spurs game, but it means a lot to the fans out here, and it feels different to previous pre-season games I've been to, certainly. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Perth Glory was a bit more of a relaxed kind of fun game, just to see what the boys admitted themselves they don't know much about the team, and it's more for the fans that live out here. But look, with Tottenham, it's always going to be special. Like it's the rivalry's always going to be there. It's like if you've got a rivalry with your brother, it doesn't matter whether you're playing FIFA 11-a-side or Uno. Like it's always going to be there. And I don't think any of those boys are going to go out and just think it's going to be a walk in the park. They're going to want to impress.
Yeah. Some of the youngsters were saying that, weren't they? I know Mabama was saying similar things. Like, I just want to be out there. But look, Jack, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on the podcast. Thanks so much for agreeing to do it. One thing before I let you go, you've been doing the Irons in the Fire series, of course, for fronting up West Ham social content, which has been brilliant. Everyone will have already seen you on it. Great stuff. Inside Irons. Excuse me. Thanks for correcting me. Blimey. And the one thing, I don't want to be obviously nicking all the content, but you mentioned it on the stage just then. A lot of comparisons in the comments to you and one particular celebrity. I'm thinking, here we go, it'd be Brad Pitt, maybe George Clooney, someone like that. Who actually was it that fans have been saying you look like?
Fans have been saying that I look like Keith Lemon, which I am absolutely disgusted by. And the fact that you brought that up, this interview is done.
That's Jack, mate. Jack, thanks so much for doing it. See you later on. Will Pugh here. Don't forget, like, subscribe, do all the usual stuff. Twitter at @WeAreWest Ham. We're here at the Crown Sports Bar ahead of this afternoon's game against Tottenham. For now, again, Will Pugh signing off.